Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dex. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you go hit that subscribe button. If you're listening in an Apple Podcast or Spotify, give us a follow, leave us that 5-star review, leave any comments that you have for the guest, and leave any comments for me with who you want to see on the next upcoming shows. To get this thing started, we got to give a big shout out to our partner, Make It Now Media. DJs, if you're looking for that flyer work, a new logo, EPKs, even just a one-off event graphic, contact them. Use the discount code, The Platform. They'll get you all set. For this week's episode, one of the few that we're doing virtually with an amazing guest from Charlotte, North Carolina, super talented DJ who's a veteran in the game. He's the founder of Radical Grove, a DJ-oriented collective that does it all. I got Rowshay joining me today. How you doing, brother?
What's up? What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad that we could link and do this, even if it's virtually, and get your story out there, get people to know you and your brand, and let's talk music, man.
It's just so wild hearing people say veteran.
I mean, tell the people a little bit about you. And, yeah, because how long you been DJing now? What are you? It's over a decade.
Yeah, I just the first time I heard it was when I did an HMC mix and they put it on there, and I was like, "Oh, it's here."
It makes me feel old.
Started DJing. So I started DJing 2005.
Okay,
is when I got
you're coming up on 20 then.
Yeah, and I got my first check in 2008. Everything else before that was just kind of like, money under the table or just doing it for fun. Because I was, around 2005, I used to cut this dude's hair, Will Pleasant. Shout out to Will Pleasant. And one day he was like, I'm tired of paying you so much for haircuts. And he said it just jokingly. And I was like, well, what do you got? And he was one of those dudes that had everything, like Segway scooters, just anything, you know what I mean? And he had said turntables, and I was like, my whole entire life had wanted to be a DJ, music production, DJing. But coming from a very small town, there's just really no insight in how to get into that. Anytime that I would speak to somebody about it, it was always like, well, you should sign up for a band. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do here. Anyways, I was like, yo, you give me them turntables, I'll cut your hair for free for 2 years. And sure enough, he brought me the turntables, and I cut his hair for free for 2 years. He brought me the turntables, brought a couple records. It was 2 Techniques, a new Mark mixer, and some old house records. He showed me how to find the one. Well, he had some needles for me too. He showed me how to find the one, and I was off to the races after that. After that, everything, all the tip money from hair went to the record shop. Just buying shit. I didn't even know what I was buying. I was just buying stuff that I thought I liked, and then I learned about records that had intros, like the pop rocks and the ultra mixes and the funky mixes. But then I learned about the singles and having to buy 2. And
so you got both turntables and a mixer?
I mean, I was $80 a haircut then, I think. So like he was,
damn,
he's every 2 weeks. So he was,
yeah.
So I mean, what's that? 160 every 2 weeks, and so it adds up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But honest to God,
shit, that's a good investment, I think.
Yeah, honest to God, he jokes now. He's like, man, I should have took a percent out of it. He goes, I had no idea you were going to run with this shit. Honest to God, I would have done it for I just wanted to get my hands on the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had no idea even who to ask or where to start. So when it popped up, I was like, whatever it takes. I ought to cut his hair for the rest of his life.
Well, let's let these listeners and these viewers know a little bit about you. Just tell everybody kind of where you're from, and obviously now we just heard how you got started, but just give us a little fun fact about you, and then how long you've been in Charlotte your whole life now.
No, so I was born in a place called Burlington, North Carolina. Okay, small town in the center of North Carolina. Grew up in a town called Hall River, North Carolina. My father had a trucking, hauling, and grading business. So we lived out on like 11 acres of land. So like grew up in the country. Uh, raised in a business household. Um, was lucky to have like good mentors as far as that goes. As far as my dad, my uncle, grandfather, he had his own. He had an oil kerosene delivery business. Typical knucklehead kid growing up. You know what I mean? Played golf, whole lot of golf. Was supposed to go to college and play golf. Went towards some colleges. And I came back and my dad was like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." And he goes, "Well, here's the deal. I'm going to pay for everything if you go to college. But if you get sent home or kicked out, fell out for any reason, you got to pay me back what I've invested into this."
Oh,
And,
damn.
and he was like, "Are you ready for that type of commitment?" And I was like, "No." Like the only reason why I would go to college was to play golf, and I just like kind of wanted to do that shit. So yeah, that. So then I fell into the hair world. Yeah, and went and toward a hair school and was like, "This is pretty cool." A lot of creative
Were you already
people.
like cutting hair on the side and shit, or what?
No, so the whole story behind the hair thing. Uh, I was very much into the child actor entertainment sector of life. Um, won a bunch of dance contests, won a bunch of singing contests, won a bunch of
Really?
acting and dancing. And, yeah, got a lot of callbacks for a lot of things, and my parents would always put the stop on it. I was always never knew why, and then
Well, shit, with
now,
everything that just came out with
now,
fucking
yeah,
Nickelodeon and Diddy.
right. So now I kind of get it. So
Yeah.
in my brain, I was like, well, I can go learn how to cut hair, and then I can take off to New York, which I did. But you start when you get inside that high fashion industry and world, you kind of just start seeing things, and you're like, oh. And then 9/11 happened, and I had to come home, and that was that.
Yeah.
And luckily, I said that's how I landed in Charlotte.
So when did you ultimately like phase yourself out of the hair game and realize like DJing and the music world is where you're going to make your career?
That's a roller coaster of a story. So I was getting very tired of the hair stuff, and I had already started DJing. I probably had a couple of gigs under my belt, and I remember one night I looked at my boy Derek Braun. We were at a club, and I was like, "Yo, tomorrow I'm hanging this hair shit up. I'm going full commitment to DJing." This was probably 2000, probably 2007, 8. Trying to remember all this. So yeah, and he was like, "Oh, you're crazy, man. Why would you throw away that illustrious hair career? You can't just do it." I was like, "Nah, bro. You got to commit. Like, if you're gonna do it, you got to fucking do it." And he was like, "All right." So that's the first time. All right. So I did it, and I was DJing. The ball was rolling. In the midst of all that, got married. We were gonna have a baby, and my wife at that point was working at Restoration Hardware, and a guy comes in and he's like, "Who cuts your hair?" And I have to kind of backstory this. This is so weird, but like, so when you're Sassoon trained hairstylist, imagine that's like a Navy SEAL, okay? So you know how to cut a real straight line, right? We can see it, right? So and he was an old Sassoon dude, and he got to talking to her, and then she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool." He was in there buying furniture for a salon he was opening. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll check him out. So I went by the shop, beautiful salon. The dude was super, like, right up my alley as far as, like, how Sassoon operates. Because a lot of the reason I got out of the hair stuff was because the Sassoon mentality, which is very, like, structured and disciplined, it kind of went to the wayside because of his passing and then, just different people come in. But he was like that. So I was, like, very into that. And I was like, yo, like, so what are you trying to do? Let's do it. So I went there, got some other hairstylists around town that I like to come on, and we got it cracking there. And I stayed there until I think I stayed there. I won the Red Bull freestyle while I was there. Not the whole thing, but I won like Charlotte and then got
Your
like third,
region, yeah, yeah.
and then I got third down in the next region. And I mean, I'm doing this on like no practice, no like just
Yeah.
like it was. I was just hair, and that's how me and Conflict became homeboys. Was we was there together. Anyways, so yeah, I wanted some other things popped up, pretty like big gigs for like corporate and celebrity parties, and I was like, "Yo, bro, I gotta go." He was like, "All right, I get it." Like,
Did those opportunities come up like because of the Red Bull recognition?
I think that maybe had a little part of it, but I was just, it wasn't really that. Like that was like a maybe a small piece. I don't discredit anything of somebody's journey not playing a part of something because I always think that there's always somebody listening and watching. But yeah, it just things just kept happening. You know what I mean?
Finally got into just straight up just DJing. Yeah. It's funny because there was just a video that I watched the other day where it's literally like, well, actually, one when Conflict was on here, that's what he said to me. Is I was like, I forgot what we were talking about, but we basically were talking about how he went full into DJing, and his exact reasoning for going all in was kind of like what you said, where you're like, no, if you're gonna do it, like you got to go all the way in.
Yeah.
Conflict's reasoning was like, I literally gave myself no backup plan. So I had to succeed. I had to do it because I had nothing to go back to.
That
And
and
that's how he looked at it.
that's one thing that the guy Roger who owned that salon, he taught me like so much shit. But like one of the things he would always say is like, you gotta. He's like, Dwayne, your talent in this hair shit is like nothing I've seen. Like you just get it. He goes, I'm sure it's the exact same way from what I've heard about the DJing stuff. He goes, you're gonna have to pick eventually. And I think when you're younger, you feel like you can do both, but you feel like you're kind of supposed to do both. But then at one day, you just have to really look at yourself and be like, who am I, and which
Yeah.
one do I need to do? And that's yeah. But then pedaling back, so yeah, went full blown DJing then, and crazy story. He expanded his salon and he wanted to put a DJ booth in it, right? Because he had salons, other places that had DJ booths. So he hits me up and yeah, I went by there and he was like, I set the DJ booth shit up for him and me and him got to talking. Apparently he'd already been talking to my wife and he was like, well, instead of sitting around the house all day and just working on that DJ shit, which, he goes, just, come up here and DJ. Well, guess what? You come up here and DJ and then and then it becomes, why don't you teach a few classes? Oh, why don't you? Okay. So then I fell back into that salon. So now I'm doing the DJing and the hair again. And I'm talking about like full blown schedules. Like it's not like partial. And whenever he would see that I was kind of getting burnt out, I could cut it back. And then some more big gigs started happening. And I'd already like cut myself back to like a very unfair schedule. Like it literally was like, why does Dwayne get such special treatment? And then one day I just I texted him. I fired myself. I was like, bro, like because he told me, he goes, I can never fire you. Like I had brought too many hairstylists. I had, done too much, and I get it. So I just fired myself, and it didn't go over that great. But it was something I had to do. Like I had to do it for me. Like I know it pissed a bunch of people off, and it's like,
Yeah.
but I was like, yo, I gotta strike on this iron's hot, and
Yeah.
I just
Pursue all these
fucking
other gigs.
like I like hair, and I love educating in hair, but like this DJ shit, like I fucking love it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the
I mean, where have
people
you all played as of now? Because I mean, you've played all
that
over.
DJ.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, I don't know. Like, let's see, we've done here, Florida, Georgia, New York, Texas, Arizona. I've never went overseas or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, I went up to Milwaukee, like we said, then been out to California.
Of all the markets that you've played, what's your favorite city that you played?
That's hard to say because most of my travel stuff is corporate.
Okay. Okay.
I never wanted to be the bottle service travel guy. I have done that, and I what I didn't like about it was just kind of like you get there, you're by yourself, you don't really know the staff. You know what I mean? You try to get to know them, but then you're out, and I don't know. I was like, if I'm the type of person like if I'm gonna put this much effort and energy to something, I'm gonna do it at home base. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I mean, locally, you can connect so much more with the staff, with the clientele too, versus like if you're just doing a one off going to another city. Yeah, you can try and meet the people there, but if you are going to a bigger city, a lot of times it's tourists and not even always going to be like locals that are there hanging out. So it's like, yeah, you're meeting them once and you might not come back for another 3 months, 6 months, and who knows if they're even going to be there or not. Versus like locally, I mean, you can build that connection with the staff, with the clientele that's coming in, and become that guy.
I will say this: probably my favorite is Charleston, West Virginia, because when we would go there, they would take us out on the river, with boating and stuff. And I also asked my wife to marry me there
Okay.
because we were up there and it was the weekend of her birthday. So yeah, that's probably, that if somebody was, if I had to remember one, that would be the one I remember the most.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
some special sentimental
Yeah. You
too.
know what I
So
mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into Radical Grove. I mean, you got the branding on the shirt, you got the branding on the hat. As far as like the platform mix goes, I mean, those we put out new mixes every Monday for anyone that wants to listen to those DJ mixes. You've been on a show solo. You've also
Hmm.
done a mix as a collective with the guys from Radical Grove, where that gives you an opportunity to showcase guys on the roster, the skills that they have. We had Amha, DJ Nice, Lomo, and then yourself. And then this week that this show is going to air, you're doing another one with the collective. So, kind of tell me, I mean, how did Radical Grove get started? And in your words, tell me what is Radical Grove?
Okay. So Radical Grove is a cultivating stand. That is the mission statement, and that is what it is. So I would assume that you know what cultivating is. And the word cult is inside of cultivating. And a stand is either something you take a stance on, or it's something that you put a plant on to grow. So the whole entire basis of Radical Grove is years, shit, fuck, it's been decades now, of all of the cool seminars, classes, mentors of what I learned in team development and training in the hair stuff. So I was like, why can't I apply this structure to this DJ world? And then I was like, of course you can. Now, the very first thought of Radical Grove had to come when DJ Marvel and another guy from down in Texas, uh, DJs over time have always just hit me up for, I think from my brain or just my left field ideas. But anyways, they hit me up and they were like, if you had a DJ collective, what would you call it? And at this point, it's like full blown hair Dwayne, and I'm still doing DJ. I'm like, I don't know, guys, fuck, leave me alone. Like, well, what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? Like, so, anyways, I didn't think anything of it that much. But then one day I was sitting in a Party City parking lot. Pretty sure I was getting ready to pick up some balloons or something for my daughter's birthday or something like that. I don't know if y'all have, what Party City is, but it's like,
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And I'm sitting in the parking lot just killing time. And I was like, what would you call a DJ collective? And I've always had an unhealthy obsession with symbols and um, the Bohemian Grove and anything else applied to an elitist. You know what I mean? Um, so I got to thinking. I was like, well, knowing the research on Bohemian Grove, it was uh it was made not for what they talk about, like sacrificing babies and fucking shit like that. It was actually it was made a long, long time ago for uh, like-minded individuals, especially of the artistic community, to be able to come together and and share
share their
ideas
ideas.
and,
Yep.
and things like that. But also, well, I don't need to talk about that part. Yeah, mainly that's what it was there for, right? It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a camp built for come and share ideas. So, all right, all right. I'm like, okay, okay. Man, I started researching and I radical, radical, and I learned what the word radical truly meant, right? And I'm like, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And then I learned what the word grove meant, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So a radical, radical grove, right? That's what I like to think that this group embodies. Because a little bit further down the road, the guy that books my national gigs, me and him was just on a plane one day, and he was like, "Well, what do you want to, what do you want to do like in the next 5 years?" And I was like, "I really want to do something here to showcase and to cultivate the talent that I'm aware of, because I've always like been like, there's so much fucking talent here, like why they should be getting the shine." I always got the shine but I'm like, they should be getting the shine. And I think that I was just the brain and the loudmouth to put it together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. But you want to be able to pass it on to other people.
Right, because you have to have a foundation. Without a foundation, everything will fall. Right, no matter how ugly or old a foundation is, if it's removed, the structure falls. And so the same
N-
thing with yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think building a team in particular that supports you, or just having a team around you that supports you, whether it's personal life, whether it's your career, is so important, because I feel like so many people think that they can do it that's themselves, or they think that they have to do it themselves,
right. Is
and that's just not always the case. I mean, you can't always do that.
yeah. You have to there has to be a team. There has to be a team that understands and is pushing towards the same common goal,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and that's getting people on board with the vision that you want, and the vision that you see Radical Grove having. So with that being said, I mean, is the future for Radical Grove, is it something that you're looking to like become like a talent booking agency in North Carolina, or like expanding further than that to be able to like help market those guys that you do find, or just throw dope events in the area, or even expanding further, or where's the brand and the business growing in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, like, so the goal has never been to just book DJs, right? Get them gigs. Now, we supply DJs to a bunch of accounts, but inside of those accounts, we work with them on the like consultation, the cultivations, the curations, So we're going in there as almost like a all-in-one consulting agency, is and helping with so many different parts of the machine that has to work, especially on the DJing and the musical side of things. We also throw events because, for the marketing and promotion, but also it's just like a spirit lifter, to
Yeah.
get everybody together and to kind of show, like we just did an event up at Beach Mountain, and it trips me out like how much support it gets. Like I'm so fucking like just humble because I'm a very like, I don't know, like where I still am baffled by the fact that it is what it is.
Yeah, and just how much it's grown.
And it's done that because of the people involved. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
when I first, because you got to understand, like I am just like a full blown like creative. When I originally started it, and I would ask people to be a part of it, and they would say yes, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. So like when it very first started, it was me and this other guy who worked for East Coast Entertainment. He was a national booker, and his background was an attorney. So he really helped me put like the business structure, like as far as like trademarks and that kind of stuff behind it. And then when we brought Courtney on, who's now like he wouldn't take half of it, even though I tried to give him half, he wouldn't take half. He came on board, and Courtney's like I call him the mayor of Charlotte. He like knows everybody. He's been in the industry his whole life. Uh, but I literally got done with a gig one night, and he was bartending at the time, and I was just sitting there. I was like, "Hey, you think you would be interested in like working with DJs and growing DJs and And he was like, yeah, I think so. And he just like, and then it turns out this is like exactly what he should be doing with his life. But then COVID hit, and David was like, yo, this entertainment shit, I got to go back to being an attorney. You know what I mean? And we were like, all right, dog, we get it, like because he had kids to feed. So then me and Courtney just restructured the operation agreement, and I handle like the DJing and the creative side. He handles the operations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he is so great at being a part of each member's life and that, and we do monthly, not monthly, but we do goal meetings, but they turn out to be monthly because there's so many guys. But we have them list out their short term and long term goals, personal goals, business goals, and that's the main focus of us is getting those accomplished. And then what they see is when you get those accomplished, you start to see more gigs coming. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, when
like,
you start to envision it
yeah,
and
because I
actually put
never
it
had,
down, yeah.
yeah, I never just wanted to just, if I was, I think if I was just like a greedy piece of shit, I would have just went around to every spot in town and just had them sign up, a contract that I handled all the bookings, and I just would send DJs and then take a cut of
Mm-hmm.
it. But that wasn't cool to me. Like I wanted to grow these people like the hair. Like I used to take hairstylists from beauty school to making $100,000 in 2 years. So I wanted to do the same thing with DJs. I wanted to, you could be a DJ that was just kind of doing it, and then I could just show you like, yo, you can do this shit. But this is the work you got to do it. I saw an interview with Jay-Z one time, and it really sparked me in the early stages of Radical Growth because he said they asked him why when he started that. Remember the sports agency thing he started?
Yeah.
They were like, "Why are you starting this?" And he was like, "Well, why do you think I'm starting it?" And they were like, "To make money." And he kind of giggled. He was like, and he was like,
Like he
"Last
needs the
yeah
fucking
yeah
money.
like last year, me and my wife combined made over $90 million." And then they were like, "Well, so why are you doing it?" He goes, "If I can get one of those young men, right, and I can have them sign, and I can show them how to structure their money in their life early, I can have them good for the rest of their life, and then maybe they'll tell a friend, and they'll, you know what I mean." So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's kind of like how I wanted to do it. I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go to every city and be like the damn Sassoon of the DJ world, like have schools and places. I don't know.
I mean, so how do you go about with your roster right now? How many guys are on your roster?
I don't
Like
even
10 right
know.
now?
Courtney
No?
knows. I
Yeah. Like
that's
that's an
it.
operations question.
Well, no, there. I mean, I can name them all. I don't know how many, like the head count. Yeah, but like, yeah, 10 to 12, and then there's other guys that are like up and coming that we still work with for like places that need DJs. But yeah, like the main, we have our core group of what we call the Parliament, because the Parliament is a group of owls.
So as far as the roster goes now, I mean, with the amount of people that you have on it, how do you decide what talent makes the cut and is fit for Radical Grove in the direction that you want to go?
It has a lot more to do with being a great person than it has to do with being a great DJ. So like,
Okay.
same thing with the hair shit. Like if you show me that you want this and you're willing to throw the ego to the side, look in the mirror, and do the work, chances are me and the others involved can make you a great DJ. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like my man Grand Funky used to always say, this shit ain't rocket science. You know what I mean? But like showing up and really wanting to do this on an elevated professional level,
Yeah.
not just so many people just want gigs, and so many people just want like certain gigs. That's not what this long game's about. You know what I mean? Like if you just want to go DJ at the hot spot that's packed out and get the content, like you're not one of us.
As far as like for events that you guys put on, the same kind of concept. I mean, is there when you're doing these events, do you look at these venues and have to kind of figure out which one is going to fit the vibe of the events and which events or which venues you want to work with?
So how that happens? So usually the way the events happen is it's usually some crazy idea one of us has that we think would be cool, and they're like, "All right, where would that fit?" Like, who's going to buy into that? And then sometimes the places reach out to us to do events or to, or help them curate an event. And there's that too. The very first event that I did, and this was before Radical Grow was started, I was the DJ Jubilee. And it was at Stash House,
Yeah.
and we did that, and like EU came, Conflict came, Crespo came one year. A
I'm about to see him this weekend.
lot of people came, like a lot, and I want that to get back to that how it was then. It kind of got a little big for its britches, but I want it to get back to where it's like strictly for the DJs, because the way we did that first one was like it was at a point in time when nightclubs were very strict on like format,
Okay.
and and I just felt like everywhere it was kind of sounding the same. So then we brought in like 25 fucking DJs from all walks of life and just said, go. Like, just, you know what I mean? But luckily for the most part, everybody came in and did what they do. And like, it was fucking fly.
Yeah, because then you're getting different vibes from everybody from all these different areas. So
Yeah.
you're gonna hear different shit than
And
maybe
people
what you
loved
just
it.
hear
Yeah.
in one area.
hmm
Yeah. How is the Charlotte scene? What's the nightlife scene there like? Is it mostly bars where you're ordering drinks at the bar? Is it clubs with a heavy emphasis on bottle service, or a little bit of both? What do you guys got going on there?
It's pretty even spread. But the coolest as far as like, we have breweries, we have bars, we have lounges, we have nightclubs. And then we have Trio, which is like the super club. You know what I mean? So it's very it's diverse. And the cool thing is that there's so much diversity in like the music, and I think a lot of that has to play with like a lot of the places listening to us and trusting us, because we really go in there from the ground up and tell them like you have you have to know who you are, right? Like, pick a brand, pick a sound, pick a and stick to it.
As far as the DJs, or as far as what the venue is looking for?
The venue has to have its own identity, right?
And that's what I feel like so many of them struggle with.
Yeah, if they don't have an identity. So like, but that's
Hmm.
with anything. That's in just business. You have to know what you're doing. Like, you have to know who you are, right? Okay, and then the next part is like us curating the music for that identity. And then
Hmm.
after that, you just have to stick to it and trust the process, and the people will come. The word, if you do your marketing and promo to what you're doing, that group of people will come. And then also it gives people the ability to go out and about and enjoy different things. One of the greatest things I ever heard when I very got in this game was from a guy, Kevin Mitchell, and he's like a big to do with like the company that books all the super huge EDM guys.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called, the Disco Donnies or Sugar Societies or something. Anyway, Kevin Mitchell, like, that's the dude. And we were at dinner one night at Morton's, yeah. And he told me there was a place in town back then called Tudamundo's. Very small house music, fantastic cocktails, but kind of just bare bones. You know what I'm saying? But it was always packed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Hmm.
And it was always a fantastic crowd. And he was like, that happens because people like to go where they know what's going to happen. And he goes, and they know if they go there, they're getting the right crowd, the right drinks, and the right music, like, for what they're
Hmm.
looking for. And I was like, damn, that is so fucking true. So, that's what I tell every venue. I'm like, listen, you can pick whatever you want to be, right? This is 2024, baby. Like, you can, whatever you want to do, and then just do it and stick with it and trust the process. And there's going to be lows, there's going to be highs, but as long as you just keep trucking, you'll be straight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like so many of the like typical nightclub formula that is like just a dinosaur technology in my mind. I mean, we're talking like it was like Vegas day. I mean, we're talking like, like when AM was still here, rest in peace, my man. And but like that whole celebrity nightclub vibe is just they're trying to hold on to that. These kids don't fuck with that shit like that. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
older people don't fuck because like they're beat to death of it. So like you have to figure out something new because that formula of just giving the same 100 songs and the same, you know what I mean? It's like snooze button, bro.
I mean, it's the same kind of concept you're talking about with Jubilee, where it's like then you're just getting the same flavor from all these people. There's no difference in who's getting booked, as opposed to like bringing in talent from all over that actually knows what they're doing. They're not getting the same 100 songs and just playing it, and then you're just getting the same repetitive set every single time.
My my really really good friend Ian Jones opened up a place with a couple of another good friend Scott Dam, and they opened it up with a guy Rock. But Ian's been in the game his whole life, and he opened up Havana Smoke and Reserve. So he wanted to do a cigar lounge, but he like put like
Hmm.
the sauce to it. So it's like when you go there, it's cigars, but then there's also like there's waitresses, but then the DJ were only in there playing like it's a very warm sound. So it's like the Catronadas, the Channel
Okay.
Tres, Tam Impala, Zoo, and but then you mix it up with like the like Brothers Johnson, Jackson Five, like that, like the Motown and the old funk stuff, because it's all so similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've been doing that since it opened, and it just gets better and better. Like people, because it's a thing. It has its identity. It does what it does.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it was so funny because I was playing there last week, and I heard this group of guys in front of me, and they said, "Damn, it's so nice to go out and not hear Drake." And I just busted out laughing. It's so true, though. You know
No,
what I
I mean,
mean?
I feel like that's how it is at the majority of places. I mean, you even hit on it a little bit before of just like how the nightlife scene used to be and the formats being so strict. Have you kind of noticed Charlotte trending and changing any way in the direction of music, or is there certain styles that like you're picking up on the clientele wanting to hear, or is it still just kept pretty open format and they're still all receptive to a little bit of everything?
That's a hard question for me to answer, but so the places that I play in Charlotte, I do exactly what I want to do. Like
Hmm.
and these are the same places that we work with from the ground up. Some of the guys in Radical Grove that do more of the like that are still doing in the bottle service game, I hear them bitching and complaining about it a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, you just got to know what you're there for and just do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like if I was to go to a bottle service spot right now, I'd probably just fall flat on my face because like I've been out of that for so long. I've just been doing like like old man DJing, but it's like the cool shit to me now. But like if you're there to if you're there to turn them up and buy bottles, like fucking get to it, bro. Turn them up and buy some bottles. Like I mean, it ain't rocket science. Is that what? But then you ask, so like, there's just different sectors around town, so you just kind of know what you're showing up for. But what's really cool about Charlotte is there's just, for the most part, there's so many different places and you can just do so many different things. Like each one kind of does really have their own little identity. You know what I mean?
What changes would you make if you had to make any changes to Charlotte and their nightlife scene?
The only change that I would make is whenever you're going to build a nightclub, have Radical Grove come in and show you how to build a DJ booth and which speakers to buy. That's it. Like and you can't fault the people that are building the places because a lot of times they'll hit up a sound company and the sound company is only going to put in what they know,
Yep.
or they're just going to put in something that somebody they thought knew what they were talking about put in. But a lot of times I'll come in there and it's so funny because I always feel like Bruce Willis in Armageddon when he's tearing that machine up. You know what I mean? Because when I get in
Yeah.
there, I'm like, you didn't need that, you don't need that. Like, what? Who fucking told you to buy this? Yeah, that's it. Like, just build a proper DJ booth and and just put in the speakers that you need because uh you'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes.
It's crazy how many spots I've been in where I'm like, Who the fuck told you guys to build this way?
Yeah,
Like, it's like you literally got zero input from a DJ
yeah,
whatsoever, and you're just like, yeah, throw this shit together. That's all they need.
yeah. Because like the sound dudes know what they're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't. We're in the trenches, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How is everything booked in Charlotte? Do you guys book everything yourself as far as DJs? Is there a lot of like agencies or entertainment bookers that handle most of it, or is it just like you can go right to management, right to ownership, and they're the ones booking you?
We handle a lot of that for a lot of places, uh, and I've always been me and Courtney both. It's very selfless mentality, right? We're wanting to book the best fit, like to work with the venue to put in the right people that are going to do the right thing, and then we work with the DJ and kind of bring them up to speed on what you need to do, how you need to do it. You know what I mean? And then we check in and have meetings and like that. So that's really all I know about. Uh, but as far as like booking nowadays, Courtney tells me where I need to be, and Chris tells me where I need to be. So
Yeah.
like Courtney handles all the Radical Grove stuff, and Chris tells me when I got to get on an airplane. And
Yeah, then you can just show up, plug in, and play.
yeah, for the most part. But it's not.
Hell
I
yeah.
wish it was like that. It's never just plug in and play. It's always because I have to do so much work on the DJ end. We always get it set up to where it becomes that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Where if it's like, sometimes they'll buy the equipment that we want, and sometimes I just like to buy it myself or have
Oh,
Radical Grow buy it because I like the idea of owning things. In case somebody wants to get shaky, I can be like, man, that sucks.
that's actually mine. So let me go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, let me know.
When it comes to you and your personal life outside of Radical Grove, how do you handle like your day to day? How are you balancing preparing for your own shit versus also having to plan things with Radical Grove and help the team grow and
What day? What
just
day?
keep
What
progressing?
what day of the week we talking about?
Different every day. Weekends get a little bit more rough.
uh, let's see. Uh, I talk on the phone a lot. I text a lot. I download music a lot. I
Hmm.
make a lot of edits. I I'm a father and a husband, so I have to, we do the podcast on Tuesday. We have a podcast here that we do to kind of shine more light on people outside of the DJ world that are still moving and shaking in Charlotte.
Yep.
We had a podcast and mix show, so we're constantly like on that. The content guy, shout out to Bruv, making sure that the bills are paid and the paychecks are going through. And I mean, I couldn't do it without Courtney. He's
No.
no, he's Courtney is he damn does. It's so wild because I remember during COVID we were having a little meeting in my office, and I was like, bro, like I may have started all this shit, but like I'm giving you half of this, and I want you to fucking run. Like
Hmm.
that's how I am. Like I'm the type of person. I'm like, if okay, don't talk to me about what you're gonna do. Like show it to me, right? I can if you're too ambitious, we can corral the ambition, right? We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
harness it and make it work correctly. But if you say that, yo, I want to fucking shoot video and make media and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, show it to me, get to it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you waiting on? And
Yeah.
fucking Courtney took that shit and ran, bro. Like, mm. But that's and the same thing with like, I see so many people like they're constantly wanting like a go ahead or a okay or some of them like want the money before they do the work and you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, like let's see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want this, then get to it, bro. You know what I'm
So what
saying?
what do you guys have upcoming? Is there projects or events that we need to keep our eyes open for when it comes to yourself or Radical Grove?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. we got the Jubilees coming up. We got a disco brunch coming up. Hopefully,
Nice.
Bruv gets the updated website and we'll get the merch going. There's the mix show, the podcast. It's, working with all the, like, check out all the DJs. Like, you can find them on radicalgrove.com, follow them on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. Like, it's just like a constant, like, every day is fucking cooking, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's what I was going to get into was like you have the Parliament podcast, you have the Parliament Files,
Yeah.
and then you guys have
The Parliament
there's one
peers, the
Parliament, yeah,
peers, but then there's Parliament Power.
Parliament Power. That's the other
Yeah,
one that yeah
that's the one for the gyms.
yeah
Oh, and then now companies are reaching out to us about doing music curation, like building playlists and stuff. So that's something I gotta figure all that out.
yeah.
But yeah, bro, if you're a soldier, holler at me, man. I'll put you to work. Like that's what I that's what I tell everybody. They're like, but I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I got the ideas. I got the capital. I got the ideas. I need the soldier. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because there's just like so much that people are capable of.
Well,
You know
explain
what
a
I
little
mean?
bit about like all the different versions of the Parliament sets that you guys have. I mean, obviously the Parliament podcast, is that mostly centered around DJs and music industry, or what do you guys talk about?
Okay, so the Parliament podcast was the same thing. I was like, I just want to talk about dope shit in Charlotte with people that are doing dope shit because I think people that are focused on doing most successful people that are doing dope things aren't really too focused on talking about it.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
you know what I mean? Because you're so busy doing. So I was like, I'm going to get those people to come in and I'm going to talk to them the same way I used to talk to hairstyle, like as a hairstylist, just, hey, how you doing? And, once I could get a client talking, it was off to the races. So it's the same thing with the podcast. So we've had everything from professional athletes to real estate big boys, the fucking financial big boys, the damn
Hmm.
bartenders, mixologists, other DJs. You know what I mean?
And just be able
Uh,
to pick everyone's brain and get
yeah,
insight from all
and
these
talk
different
shit. Yeah.
sides of the industry. Yeah.
And then the Parliament Files is just, number one, it's to, for them to constantly be making mixes.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I'm a firm believer in, making mixes makes you better, right? People are like, how are you so with the Ableton? I'm like, because I've just own it all day long and was able to have people like Victor Minigo and Yona and people teach me little tricks and shit that, so then you just keep doing it.
As far as the mix goes, I mean, you guys are going to have your mix coming out April 8th. This is going to come out right after that, April 10th. Can we get a sneak peek as far as who's going to be on the mix this time, or what you're expecting vibe wise from the mix at all? Have you listened to any of the other guys of what they're putting out?
Well, first off, I don't even know if they've started their shit yet because if you know anything about DJs,
Trust me, that's why I put deadlines on the shit and they never get hit.
yeah,
But
that
yeah, let
was
me hit you with these rapid fire questions and then
the
we'll get you
rapid
out of here.
fire.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of questions listed here. So first one I got here. What's the biggest thing that DJs do that pisses you off? Your DJ pet peeve.
I don't like when DJs do this when they make videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like getting ready before they start and start
Yeah, like
touching the turntables and
yeah,
shit.
like this. I don't like that. I don't like the I don't like the like I don't like that. Um
The nonstop sample pushers.
I don't like it when they are constantly like on the phone like this, like they're doing something. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's fucking swag surf, of course. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like the ones that are just on their phones, and I don't like it when they play mixes in the beginning.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'm big on when you get there, start working. There's always
Hmm.
somebody listening. Because I mean, it's surprising how before I started Radical Grove, just talking to people, and I would ask them, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he comes in here, but like the first hour, he's just playing like the same mix," and I'd be like, "That's why I tell them somebody's always listening." So even if you're just gonna go in there and work on some shit or play some odd shit, somebody's listening. You know what I mean? That's your
Yeah.
time to do it. I don't know if you ever heard the set that I did on Conflict's podcast 400 years ago, but that was the beginning of before like I was at like a fucking hood club, like a turn up, and I'm in there playing all that shit early.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recorded it.
As
Yeah,
opposed to putting on Tiger Nuts and just fucking letting them ride.
yeah, Tiger Nuts. What's Tiger Nuts?
That motherfucker's getting a lot of DJs paid. You never heard of Tiger Nuts?
No, what is this?
It's like I don't know who it is. I've fucking wanted to figure out who it is for the longest time. But Tiger Nuts is like it's a mix, and that's the artist. Is Tiger Nuts is the artist of the mix that Club Killers puts out. So like every year or like every 6 months, something like that, they'll put out like a new Tiger Nuts mix, and it'll be like 2024 opener mix by
Oh
Tiger
man.
Nuts. And I'm not kidding. Like the amount of times that I've heard Tiger Nuts played is fucking unreal. Like he has got to be the lifesaver for so many DJs on slow nights, like where they just can throw a mix on. It's fucking wild.
What was this?
I gotta
DJ
find out
City?
who he is.
It's DJ
No,
City?
Club Killers. Club
Club
Killers.
Killers. Oh yeah. I'm gonna text Alex and see if he'll tell me. There's probably Conflict. That sounds like some shit Conflict would do. Conflict will 100% make a mix and call himself Tiger Nuts. That shit's fucking great. That's hilarious.
What's one piece of advice that you would give to a new DJ?
I would say if I had in 2024, if I had to give a DJ a piece of advice, I would tell them to get on Spotify and start Googling decades and
Mm-hmm.
download all the major songs from those playlists and learn those songs. You know what I mean? Because every other new DJ, for the most part, it seems like they're just jumping on there and they want to just play John Summit, raise their hands, and get the fucking video and be out of there. No,
Yeah.
learn your music, bro. Like study that shit. If download it, learn it, digest it, find some shit that you don't know. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations, whether it's as a go to spots that you don't normally visit and see and listen to what they're playing, and then Shazam the shit out of all the stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
Get on Spotify, study those old playlists, learn the shit that actually works across the board. Because like what I mean, that is what it is. I make a really good living off of playing old shit the
Yeah.
right way, like, and
Wh-
then sprinkling in the little bits that work now.
What's something? Let's say you went back in time and you got to talk to yourself when you first started DJing.
Stop drinking.
Well,
Yeah. But the first
do you
the
drink
first
when you DJ now or no?
not really.
Okay, neither
Now
do I.
whenever I was coming up with all this, I had to drink because I had to get, as a creative, I had to get that thing going, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
my mind goes to a certain place and I take in very, if I'm not, if I don't have drinks in me, I'm very like hyper focused. I'm not, it's like a no, like we're gonna talk about what we got to talk about. We're gonna do what we got to do. But if I
Mm-hmm.
drink, I'm a little bit more like lax, and I can kind of see what's going on and adjust, and more like with the people, and actually interested in what they're saying and things like that, and what's going on. And my mind gets creative, and these fucking crazy ideas pop up, and then I can take them and mold them into things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, it wouldn't be stop drinking because I only time I drank and got in trouble was on my wedding night. But that's a whole nother story. You can listen to my wife's podcast if you want to hear that. Uh, no, I would go back in time and I'd be like, yo, this shit's gonna work, dog. Like, you should be taking it all pretty serious right now because it was just like something we did back then. Like, I remember sitting on the couch with Graham and being like, what are we gonna do in 10 years? And he was like, what are any of us gonna do in 10 years? He's like, bro, this is the Wild West. He's like, the only thing we have to look at is Jazzy Jeff, and he's still going.
Mm-hmm.
But he's Jeff. Like, for us, like, what? Who knows? Just keep it pushing, and that's why I think I always had that, like, what, like, when is this going to end mentality? Because it was like something they always told us that wasn't going to last, and here it is, still lasting. It seems to be getting bigger, and
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I wanted to put the structure and the discipline to it here because when you start dealing with business people, they want to see business facts, and that's what it takes. So yeah,
Going off of that,
I'd go back and be like, yo, get serious. Like,
this is going to be a perfect one that kind of just segues right off of that. What's your biggest DJ related dream or ambition that you haven't achieved yet?
oh, Dex, bro, come on, man. Uh, my my biggest DJing. Okay, well, as far as actually DJing, I've checklist all the DJ stuff I want to do. Like when I when I DJed for Justin Timberlake, that was like I did. Well, I did Justin, Missy, Christina, so I knocked all them out. Uh, probably to honestly to be able to hang up the headphones and like just continue to grow Radical Grove and the people involved in it. Like
Okay.
I would love to, and I can't even say that because honest to God, I could do that right now, but I'm still so in love with it. So I guess probably to just leave this shit in a better place than it was when I got here. I just want to like have an office space that has the fucking like mad DJ booth set up in it and a podcast studio, and I want to come in there and I want to work with the DJs all day and just talk and like grow and you know what I mean, like hear what their problems are, hear what their goals are, and get to solving and growing it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like
Absolutely.
keep booking. I would love for it to be able to. I would love to figure out a way to branch this out into other markets and work with other DJs. And hopefully after this podcast, they might hit me up and we can see what's popping. But for them, you know, you have to get to know them because so many of them just want to fucking get gigs. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I want you to. I want to teach you how to fish, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? And then we'll manage it from there.
That way you can catch your own fish. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, think about you. Like, look at this shit. Like, I remember when you started this fucking the mix show back in the day. Like, you just like a cat. You know what I mean? And now you're
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, mix
Yeah.
show podcast, and you like do all this fucking technical shit, and everything's all put together now. And I heard, uh, does Make It Now Media do all your shit now, or do you still do it?
No, I do a lot of it. So they'll do like a one off stuff. Like
That's
I just have
that's
them do my
Conflicts
monthly
Boy, right?
flyer. Yeah,
Make It
Zaya.
Now, yeah, yeah, Zaya.
Yeah.
That's the
Fucking
Conflicts
does a
Boy.
killer
Yeah.
job on it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Uh,
remember when they got fucking cooking. Like, it's, you
hmm.
know what I mean? It's so dope to see this. It's just wild to see how far we've come.
Yeah. No, he's killing it now, and that's why I wanted to like partner with him because it fit the
Uh-huh.
direction that I wanted my brand to go. Obviously, I'd used them so much prior, so I knew the work that they were putting out, um, and I just wanted to be able to like put on their brand too. So
Yeah,
that was another thing. So,
fucking crazy.
well, yeah, man, that's all I got for you. I mean, I got to thank you again for taking the time, sitting down, getting your story out there, talking about your business, your brand, your personal life, and then just letting people relate to it. Hopefully, getting out to these DJs, these other venues, agencies, whatever they're going to be that could hopefully get some info from you and learn a little bit. So
Did you learn anything?
I did. I learned that your fucking music catalog is deep as shit.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. I have this running joke that I'm gonna sell it off one day.
Just the whole library, all the vinyl, everything.
I don't have any vinyl. I got rid of that when it became extinct. I don't hold on to. I'm not big on old tech. Like I'm so. That's why I'm so fascinated with people like you because I don't really know how to use everything to its capabilities. Like I'm pretty conservative, but then at the same time, I'm the same one that thinks that like the Neuralink would be kind of cool, if that makes sense. Like I think
It
you
would
have
be
to.
fucking cool.
I think you have to have a very strong balance of like I said earlier, like you have to have like the foundation and kind of know like where things come from, but then you take that and you grow it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like that's why I think like that should be fucking fly.
Last thing I'm gonna have you do is put somebody on a platform. So it could be any person, brand you love, DJ, artist, band, restaurant, somebody that you want to get their name out to the people.
Yeah, where do I start, man? Fucking Rowshay, baby, put him out there.
Can I put myself on it?
No, I want to thank me. I want to thank
Yeah.
me. Does anybody ever put you on the platform?
No, not yet. I just started doing this, so this is the new little segment I put in. This will be the third episode that I'm putting it on.
Well, I this is the first one of these aside from conflict that I've done, and
Hmm.
they have been telling me ever since Radical Robot Cooking that I need to do these, like all the ones. But I was like, I want to do Texas first, and let me
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
you why. You impressed me so much about. So when I met you, you just were. I guess you were you're DJing, right?
Hmm.
But you were listening to the other mix shows, and you were reaching out to other people, reaching out to people. You had your own mix show going, and you said that you do all your graphics, you do all your intros. It was always clean, professional, timely. You got a schedule. You got it. It's like all in fucking crazy PDF form. It's like you're like a goddamn corporation running that. And then you start the podcast. You always have guests. The video is crystal clear. You know how to do. I didn't even know this shit existed.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that you are a fucking fantastic example of I get like the younger DJs and how you need to move and shake in this climate because it's it's not like how it was for us back then. Like ours was going to other cities and hanging out and doing dinners and meeting people and when people would come in town do the dinners. And I'm not saying to stop doing those things, but I'm saying you got to move like this too. Like this is 2024. It's fucking
Hmm.
like you know what I'm saying? Like I think I've half jokingly said that you should come and run some shit over here because it's fucking and just working with young people. And you said you're 30 years old. It's
Yeah.
so impressive. It's very impressive to see that you DJ, you go to school, you run the mix show, and you run the podcast, and you got a dog. You're fucking doing it, bro.
Busy
Like
as shit, man.
it's
I
just like yeah, that's
appreciate it.
but it's
it.
it's fucking impressive, man. That's I put you up on the pedestal. I already put the other people. Shout out to Graham, fucking the OGs, Graham
Yeah.
Five.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot coming from you, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, like I'm thoroughly impressed by your fucking moving and shaking, man. Because I just remember when it was just like a yo, you want to make a mix of this show? And like yeah,
Yeah.
hey yo, man. Shame on the DJs that don't do that shit for the young ones. Like if you like the older dudes, like people like if shame on you. Because at one point in time, you was fucking 20 some years old and 30, and you was looking up to somebody. And if they would have asked you to do something, if you would have asked them to do something and they would have did it, you'd been pissed off. Like you know you would have done it.
Yeah, luckily I don't ever get like upset at it, but there is a lot of dudes that have just left me on red in the DMs
Yeah, that's fucking wild, bro.
and just don't even answer it. Like I don't even care. Like I'm the kind
You
of
know
guy
what
where it's
my
like,
biggest pet peeve about DJs is the ones that fucking forget that you play other people's shit. So like, you better just fucking chill until you get a hit record.
yeah.
That's what I tell. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. They're like, I'm like, what? I'm like, you got two options. You can either get really good at playing other people's shit, and you can be nice and kind and humble and build you a little audience of people that fuck with you, or you can make a hit record. And it's kind of hard to make a hit record.
Yeah, one
Like,
is definitely easier than the other, that's for sure.
yeah, like
So,
but yeah,
but no,
bro.
man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. I appreciate you bringing your whole team to be on the mix show. I'm excited to hear what you guys are going to bring for this next mix. Uh, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys go follow Rowshay. Make sure you follow Radical Grove. I'll throw all their details in the description here.
Like, subscribe, hit that bell.
If you guys got any questions, put them in the comments. Let Rowshay know if you guys got any questions, and then stay tuned for future mixes and future episodes. So we're out of here. Appreciate it, man. Thank you again. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Check. Mic check. 1, 2. Yo, is this thing on or what?